Record. Hello, we're here to present the article, The Culture Concept. My name is Angela Soder.
My name is Gurpreet Kaur.
My name is Kamalpreet Kaur Gill.
My name is Anurag Chuk.
My name is Solomon.
So, chose the concept of culture, meaning, practices, and ideology as our presentation topic. To begin, culture is an intricate and fundamental aspect of human society, weaves together the fabric of identity, beliefs, and custom that define a community. It is a dynamic and evolving phenomenon influenced by historical, social, and environmental factors. Moreover, culture acts as a lens through which individuals interpret reality, providing a framework for understanding their place in the world and establishing a sense of identity and belonging. One of the essential aspects of culture is its influence on behavior and social practices. Cultural norms and customs dictate how individuals interact, communicate, and establish relationships. Rituals and ceremonies are vital components of cultural practices, reinforcing shared values and providing a sense of cohesion and continuity within the community. In this presentation, we embark on a journey to understand the multifaceted concepts of culture, delving into its meaning, practices, and underlying ideologies. My friend will explain ahead.
Okay. The article at the hand commences by defining culture as a shared system of symbols, values, and meanings that shape the behavior and intersection of a group of a people. It explores how culture is transmitted through a generation by socialization and acquisition, modeling individuals into functional members of their society. Language, as a key element of the culture, plays a central role in shaping the way individuals perceive and interpret their surroundings. Furthermore, the article delves into the practices, rituals, and customer, especially how they foster a sense of belonging, a cohesion within the community. Culture, individuals, and word views are also examined, demonstrations how they influence perceptions of morality, power dynamics, and social heritage. So I think it was for me and my another friend describe more about that.
The four more interesting facts I would like to share are: the first is diversity. We all know that culture is very diverse and has many elements like languages, customs, beliefs, and many other. And the second one I would like to share is behavior. Culture, we know that culture molds our perspective as a person thinks and approach with various situations. And the third one I would like to share is psychological impact. We all know that the person receives and perform tasks according to the psychological capability and the particular thinking of a situation, how he perceives it, and how he handles those situations, which sometimes depend on the culture and which plays an important part in shaping the decisions in someone's life. And the fourth I would like to share is the cultural heritage. As we all know that there are many protests against the latest we have seen, there are many protests which are related to the cultural heritage, and the efforts to protect the practices, the beliefs, and the monuments are all a part of it. Now my friend will share furthermore.
Many interesting key topics that we learned was about language and the stories and fables that have to do with culture. The main key findings when it comes to the culture concept was analyzing what exactly culture was. And when we read analogies and stories directly from people, both indigenous, immigrants, and native people of the land, we saw that stories and language are the main things that most people identify with within their culture. So when it comes to language, they said that if they were to lose their language, it would be in a way they would lose their cultural identity. Language has a very strong significance within culture. Many people would feel without an identity, without a culture, if it weren't for the language that is associated with said culture. The language carries tradition, it carries information, it carries specific communication that not any language has. Each language has specific words, specific terms, and each thing means something in that specific language, where if you were to try to translate it, it wouldn't have the same meaning. And with the communication comes ties to your community, to your relatives, to the people that you know around you. The way you communicate and what you communicate, it's very deeply engraved. It's very much deeply engraved within that language. And then stories and fables. The reason why most older people love to instill stories and fables onto the younger children, the younger generation, is so they can pass along their morals. They can pass along their specific traditions and their ways of life. They want to explain what to do when it comes to preserving their traditions, when it comes to preserving themselves, what sorry, what you're supposed to do when you're in a place of danger, when you feel unsafe. These are all lessons of things that you can do when you are in need. And of course, there's many examples to live by within these stories and fables. And then another key learnings and key vocab would be armchair anthropology within the cultural concept. Also explained various ranges of research, which includes armchair anthropology, which basically means that you study a culture, you research it from a distant perspective instead of being within that culture, which is what going native means, which means that you are integrating, you are living there, you are marrying there, you are a key part of that society, you are playing a role, you are integrated within it. Whereas in armchair anthropology, you're just watching it from a distance, you're researching it from a distance. Of course, ethnocentrism means that you think that your culture is the best one out there. You deeply value your own culture and you think that it's better than all the other ones. And then functionalism is a term that's very, very interesting because it takes into perspective the necessity or the function that comes within culture, that comes from culture, traditions, that type of thing, because each person, each role, each tradition, it has a significance, it has a purpose, it has a function within that society, which of course can mean anything from institutions like school. What is the function? To teach, to inform, to prepare the youth, and other such things. Then I'm going to have my friend explain how the cultural concept was also relevant to anthropology as a whole.
Yeah. So, from what my friends and group members have said, I'm here to explain how it's relevant to anthropology, that is culture concept. This article is relevant to anthropology because it dives into the social and cultural aspects of food practices and how they shape identity and experiences of a specific migrant community. By studying food habits and memories, anthropologists can gain insights into migration, adoption, and cultural preservation in diasporic context. I'm also going to give some examples of how it's relevant. First of all, I go with the cultural anthropology. The study explores the cultural aspects of food practices, memory, and transactional culture. Anthropologists often focus on understanding how cultural traditions and practices are preserved, transformed or adapted in new environments, such as during migration. Second one is social anthropology. The article sheds light on the social dynamics of food sharing, memory transmission, and the formation of social network within the Cameroonian migrant community. Social anthropologists investigate how this interaction contribute to the construction of social identities and relations. This article contributes to the broader understanding of how the complexities of human societies, cultural dynamics, and impacts of immigration on people's life. In summary of how this is relevant to anthropology, I would say that the anthropological themes, including cultural practice, social interaction, migration dynamics, symbolism, and memory. By studying these aspects within the context of Cameroonian migrants in Cape Town, the article contributes to a deeper understanding of human societies, cultural adaptations, and the significance of food in shaping cultural identities. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've all touched on how the culture concept is relevant to anthropology, everything we learned about how language and stories can shape what culture is and how identity comes from that and how our behavior stems from our culture. Thank you for your time and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.